Remember looking up at the night sky as a kid and just like wondering, could we ever walk on the moon
Yeah.
or travel to Mars?
Yeah.
It all seemed like something only governments could do, you know, superpower stuff.
Right.
But things have changed, haven't they?
They really have.
Big time.
Yeah.
We're in this new era of space travel, and it's not driven by nations anymore,
Mm-hmm.
but by companies. And it's not just about planting flags anymore.
Right.
It's about, well, the possibilities are way more exciting now.
Absolutely. Way more exciting.
Welcome to Cosmos in a Pod, the Space and Astronomy series.
Yeah, it really is like a total paradigm shift. For decades, space exploration was just synonymous with, giant government agencies,
Yeah.
massive budgets, and a pace that, let's be honest, could be really glacial.
Yeah.
But now private companies are stepping in and they're injecting like a dose of entrepreneurial spirit,
Right.
rapid innovation,
Yeah.
and a whole lot of ambition, I think.
So walk me through this a little bit. How did private companies kind of muscle their way into what seemed like this exclusive government club?
Well, it really started with like a need for more efficiency.
Okay.
Agencies like NASA were dealing with budget constraints,
Mm-hmm.
and they realized that outsourcing some tasks, like just launching payloads into orbit,
Right.
could actually be way more cost effective.
Okay.
So this kind of opened the door for private companies to, enter the space game. And early programs like NASA's Commercial Orbital Transportation Services, or CEOS,
Right.
those were really crucial in kind of nurturing this burgeoning industry.
So NASA kind of lit the fuse then, unintentionally maybe.
Yeah, I think in a way they did. Yeah.
What was the aha moment, though? The one that really made everybody sit up and take notice of these private space ventures?
Yeah, you could pinpoint 2010 as like a pivotal year.
Okay.
That's when SpaceX, founded by Elon Musk, successfully launched their Falcon 9 rocket. And this wasn't just about showing that a private company could reach orbit reliably. But the Falcon 9 was designed with reusability in mind, something previously considered like almost impossible.
Hold on. Reusable rockets.
Yeah.
How did they crack that? I mean, that was the stuff of sci-fi dreams.
It really was. And SpaceX's approach was like revolutionary,
Yeah.
Imagine the cost savings if you could land a rocket back on Earth like an airplane instead of just discarding it after a single use.
Right.
The Falcon 9 and later the Falcon Heavy proved that it could be done,
Yeah.
Suddenly the cost of accessing space just plummeted. Like, think about it. The Falcon 9 brought the price per kilogram of payload down to like around $2,700
Wow.
compared to a crazy $18,000 during the space shuttle era.
That's massive.
Yeah.
Talk about disrupting an industry.
Yeah.
So was SpaceX alone in this reusable rocket game? Were other companies kind of catching on?
Oh, for sure. Around the same time, Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, was busy building his own space venture, Blue Origin. While they initially focused on suborbital tourism with their New Shepard rocket, they also had their eyes on heavier payloads and orbital missions.
Right.
With, the development of their new Len rocket.
Okay.
And both companies, SpaceX and Blue Origin, are really champions of reusable rocket technology. They're really driving down those costs and just increasing that access to space.
So we've got like Musk and Bezos,
Yeah.
two of the biggest names in tech,
Yeah.
vying for space supremacy. Kind of sounds like a billionaire space race, right?
It does sound like that.
Is it all about egos and deep pockets?
It's tempting to see it that way.
Yeah.
But the reality is, I think, more nuanced. While SpaceX and Blue Origin are definitely grabbing headlines, there's so many other players in this new space ecosystem, each with their own unique focus and contributions. Like, take Virgin Galactic, for instance.
Okay.
Founded by Richard Branson. Their goal is like democratizing space tourism, offering suborbital flights on their VSS Unity spaceplane. Then you've got Rocket Lab, specializing in small satellite launches with their Electron rocket.
Right.
They cater to a totally different market,
Wow.
providing affordable and fast access to space for like smaller nations, universities, even startups.
So it's not just a playground for the ultra wealthy then.
Not at all.
Smaller players with, maybe different goals, they're getting in on the action too.
Yeah.
What impact is this diversity having on the space landscape?
Well, I think it's really opening up a whole universe of possibilities. We're seeing this like surge of new ideas, innovative technologies, and just a ton of entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
It's no longer just about launching satellites or sending astronauts to the International Space Station.
Right.
We're talking about everything from private space stations to asteroid mining,
Wow.
lunar settlements, and even, the ambitious goal of colonizing Mars.
Wow, it's getting hard to keep up.
Mm.
Private space stations, that sounds straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Are those actually on the horizon?
They are, and they actually represent a fundamental shift as how we think about space.
Yeah.
Companies like Axiom Space and Sierra Space, they're developing these private outposts, and
Yeah.
envisioning them as hubs for like research,
Right.
tourism, and even manufacturing in microgravity. So they're essentially building like the successors to the ISS
Okay.
with a real focus on commercialization and expanding human presence in space.
Let's back up for a second. We've covered a lot of ground here. Reusable rockets driving down costs, a diverse range of players entering the scene, ambitious projects like these private space stations you mentioned, even dreams of colonizing Mars.
Yeah.
How is all this actually changing the game, though? What are the, tangible impacts beyond just making space travel more affordable?
That's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Private companies are pushing the boundaries of innovation at a pace that government agencies just can't match.
Mm.
They're not bogged down by, bureaucracy or political agendas,
Right.
which allows them to move really quickly, experiment with new technologies, and take calculated risks.
So it's not just about cutting costs, then. It's about supercharging innovation.
Yeah.
Can you give me some concrete examples of this in action?
Oh, absolutely. Take SpaceX's Starship, for example. It's this fully reusable spacecraft designed for missions to the moon and Mars.
Okay.
And it's envisioned as like an interplanetary transport system,
Right.
capable of carrying both crew and cargo. The scale and ambition of this project, it's unlike anything we've seen before.
Starship. It does sound like something straight out of Star Trek.
Yeah.
What other technological leaps are these companies making?
Well, Blue Origin is developing the BE-4 engine, which is this really powerful new rocket engine designed for their new Glenn rocket.
Oh.
And what's remarkable is that it's actually been selected by the United Launch Alliance for their Vulcan rocket,
Wow.
which is a real testament to its capabilities and reliability. So these engines, they're pushing the limits of propulsion technology,
Yeah.
and enabling more ambitious missions and larger payloads.
It's mind-blowing to think about the speed at which all this is happening. We've gone from reusable rockets to, interplanetary spacecraft and cutting-edge engines in the blink of an eye. Is there anything else these companies are doing to shake up the space industry?
Well, they're also playing this vital role in supporting government agencies, which is interesting. Take NASA's Artemis program, for instance.
Right. Their goal is to return humans to the moon and establish a sustainable presence there.
Exactly.
But they're not doing it alone.
Right.
SpaceX's Starship was chosen as the, human landing system for those Artemis missions. Talk about a vote of confidence.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this collaboration really highlights, I think, a key aspect of this new era of space exploration. It's partnerships.
Yeah.
We're seeing this blurring of lines between the public and private sectors,
Right.
with government agencies actually leveraging the expertise and resources of private companies to achieve their goals.
So it's not just about competition, it's about collaboration as well. That adds another layer to this whole story.
It does, and I think it speaks to the evolving nature of space exploration. It's no longer a solely national endeavor. We're seeing international collaborations, public-private partnerships,
Yeah.
and this growing recognition that, tackling the challenges of space really requires this global effort.
It sounds like the space industry is undergoing, a complete transformation then.
Absolutely. It really is.
But it's not all smooth sailing, is it?
Not quite, no.
There must be challenges kind of lurking amidst all this progress, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. As exciting as all these advancements are, there are some serious hurdles to overcome.
Okay.
From environmental concerns to regulatory uncertainties, and the always present question of long-term sustainability.
Right.
The private space industry faces, a unique set of challenges, and we'll dive into those in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, great.
One of the biggest concerns with this, surge in space activity is kind of ironically its impact on the environment,
Okay.
both here on Earth and in space itself.
I see the irony there. We're trying to expand our reach into the cosmos, but we might end up messing things up both down here and up there.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me the breakdown. What are the specific environmental worries?
Okay, well, let's start with rocket launches. Every time a rocket blasts off, it's releasing a pretty significant amount of carbon emissions into the atmosphere.
Right.
Now, as launch frequency increases with, the rise of private space ventures,
Yeah.
so does the potential for environmental damage.
The more rockets equals more pollution. That's not a great trade-off.
It's a valid concern. But the issue goes beyond just carbon emissions, too.
Okay.
We also have the problem of space debris.
Right.
Every satellite we launch, every rocket stage we discard, it all adds to this growing cloud of junk basically orbiting our planet.
Yeah, I've heard about this. It's a danger to other spacecraft, right?
For sure.
Even the International Space Station.
Absolutely. Space debris travels at super high speeds. Even a small piece colliding with a satellite or spacecraft,
Yeah.
can cause catastrophic damage.
Wow.
And as we launch, these mega constellations of satellites like SpaceX's Starlink.
Right, with thousands of individual units.
Exactly, yeah. With thousands of units, the risk of collisions, it just increases exponentially.
So we're basically creating a cosmic minefield up there.
Kind of, yeah.
It sounds like this debris problem could, jeopardize the future of space travel if it gets out of hand.
Yeah, it's definitely a serious issue. It needs to be addressed. The good news is that there is a growing awareness of the environmental impact of space activities.
Okay, good.
Companies are starting to explore alternative fuels and propulsion systems with lower carbon footprints. And researchers are developing technologies to actually capture and remove space debris.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
It sounds like there's at least an effort to clean up after ourselves, so to speak.
Yeah.
What other challenges are, on the radar for these private space pioneers?
Well, the rapid growth of the industry has kind of outpaced the development of clear international regulations for activities in space.
Oh, okay. So it's a bit of a Wild West situation up there.
And yeah.
Everyone's rushing in, but the rules of the game aren't quite established yet.
Exactly. We need clear guidelines for things like managing space traffic, allocating orbital slots for satellites,
Right.
and addressing liability in case of accidents or collisions.
Yeah.
With more companies and countries, vying for a piece of the space pie, the potential for conflict just increases if we don't have those rules of the road, so to speak.
It makes sense. It's like any new frontier. You need laws to prevent chaos and ensure things don't get out of hand. What else keeps these space entrepreneurs up at night?
Well, beyond the regulatory and environmental hurdles, there are, of course, the immense technical challenges
Right.
that are just inherent in space exploration, developing fully reusable spacecraft, creating landing systems for other planets, designing and building long-duration habitats for astronauts.
Right.
These are incredibly complex engineering endeavors.
Right. We're talking about pushing the limits of human ingenuity and technology here. That's got to be a constant headache. What about the financial side of things? Can these ambitious ventures actually make money?
Yeah, that's the billion-dollar question. A lot of these projects, like Mars colonization or constructing those private space stations, they require these massive investments with pretty uncertain returns.
Right.
So maintaining profitability, especially in the early stages of development, is a huge challenge.
Yeah.
They're banking on the future, betting that the demand for space-based services and experiences will grow enough to justify the cost.
It's a high-stakes gamble for sure.
Yeah.
But despite these challenges, it seems like the future of private space travel is full of, audacious plans and bold visions.
Yeah.
What are some of the most exciting possibilities on the horizon?
Well, one that really captures the imagination is Mars colonization.
Okay.
Companies like SpaceX, they genuinely believe that establishing a permanent human settlement on Mars is not just a dream, but a necessity for the long-term survival of humanity.
Wow.
They see a future where we become a multiplanetary species, safeguarding ourselves against any potential threats to Earth.
It's a mind-blowing concept.
Yeah.
But Mars is a harsh and unforgiving environment.
Yeah.
How do we even begin to tackle those logistical and technological hurdles of building a self-sustaining colony on another planet?
It's a monumental undertaking, no question. The challenges are huge. But companies like SpaceX are developing technologies that could make it possible.
Yeah.
The Starship, for example, is designed to transport both crew and cargo to Mars.
Right.
And their plan, which is pretty ambitious, involves sending multiple Starships on each mission to build up the infrastructure and the resources needed for a Martian colony.
So Starship is more than just a spacecraft. It's the potential foundation for a whole Martian civilization.
Yeah, in a way.
It's like something out of a science fiction novel,
No.
but with a real possibility of happening in our lifetime.
I think so.
What about other destinations? Is Mars the only focus for these grand ambitions?
While Mars is definitely a long-term goal for many, The moon is attracting a lot of attention too.
Okay.
Blue Origin, as part of NASA's Artemis program, is
Hmm.
focused on developing their Blue Moon lander to return humans to the lunar surface.
Right.
They see the moon as this valuable stepping stone to further exploration,
Okay.
like a testing ground for technologies and a potential location for resource extraction.
So we could see a sort of lunar base camp, a launch pad for like deeper ventures into the solar system. That's pretty incredible.
Right.
What other advancements should we be keeping an eye on?
Well, with the International Space Station getting closer to retirement,
Yeah.
private space stations are kind of poised to take center stage. Axiom Space's Axiom Station and Sierra Space's Orbital Reef, those are two
Hmm.
of the leading contenders in this race. Imagine these stations as like these bustling hubs of activity, hosting astronauts, conducting experiments, tourists marveling at the Earth below, and even companies manufacturing, specialized products in that unique environment of microgravity.
It sounds like these private space stations could become the new frontier for research, commerce, and even tourism.
Yeah.
But what about their impact on, like, our everyday lives here on Earth?
Yeah.
Will these advancements in space have any, like, tangible benefits for those of us who aren't astronauts or billionaires?
Absolutely, I think so. One area where we're already seeing a big impact is global internet connectivity.
Okay.
Projects like, SpaceX's Starlink are aiming to provide high-speed internet access to
What?
even the most remote corners of the planet,
Wow.
using a constellation of, thousands of satellites in low Earth orbit.
So even if we never get to ride a rocket or visit a space station, we could all benefit from the innovations driven by private space exploration. What other, like, potential benefits are on the horizon?
Well, space manufacturing is an emerging field with huge potential.
Okay.
The unique environment of microgravity allows for the creation of materials and products that are really difficult or impossible to produce on Earth. Imagine like advanced materials for electronics, new pharmaceuticals, or
Yeah.
even specialized components for spacecraft, all manufactured in orbit.
Wow. So from improving global communication to creating these novel materials, it seems like the ripple effects of private space travel are already reaching us here on Earth. It's a truly exciting time to be witnessing this, like, transformation of the space industry.
For sure.
But before we get swept away by all this excitement, I think it's important to step back for a second and consider the bigger picture. What are the implications of all this activity in space for global cooperation, international relations, and just the future of humanity as a whole?
Yeah, you've hit on a crucial point. The rise of these private companies in space, it's not just about like technological advancement.
Right.
It's also reshaping the geopolitical landscape.
Okay.
These companies often work with government agencies from different countries, fostering these partnerships and knowledge sharing that actually transcend those national borders.
So in a way, then, space exploration is becoming this unifying force,
Yeah, I think so.
bringing nations together in this shared pursuit of knowledge and progress.
Exactly. And by lowering the cost of access to space, private companies are actually empowering more countries, especially those with limited resources, to actually participate in space exploration and reap the benefits of, space-based technologies.
That's a really encouraging thought. It
Yeah.
seems like the impact of private companies in space goes far beyond just, like, rockets and satellites. They're influencing international relations, promoting global cooperation, and potentially shaping the future of humanity itself. But with all this progress, I think it's important to acknowledge that there are still so many unanswered questions about the long-term implications of these commercial space activities.
Absolutely. As we move forward, we really need to have these thoughtful conversations about the sustainability of space exploration,
Yeah.
the ethical considerations of colonizing other planets, and how do we ensure that the benefits of space travel are shared equitably, among all nations and peoples. These are complex issues with no easy answers, but they're crucial to address as we venture further into the cosmos.
It's a lot to consider. It's clear that private companies are playing this, like, transformative role in space travel. But their impact goes way beyond just those technical achievements. They're challenging us to think about our place in the cosmos, our responsibilities to future generations, and even the very definition of what it means to be human in this increasingly interconnected and spacefaring world.
But before we dive into those philosophical depths, I think, let's shift gears for a moment. We've talked a lot about, companies, technologies, and grand visions.
Yeah.
But what about the people behind it all? What about the astronauts, the engineers, the visionaries who are making this incredible journey possible? Let's explore the human element of this new space age in the final part of our deep dive.
Yeah, this is where it gets really fascinating. Behind all the rockets and satellites and these ambitious plans, there are these individuals, driven by this like profound passion for space exploration. They're pushing the boundaries of human knowledge and experience, fueled by this deep desire to like explore the unknown.
It's easy to get caught up in all the like technological marvels and forget that there are actual people
Risking their lives,
right,
dedicating their careers to making all of this happen.
Yeah.
What kind of person becomes an astronaut in this new commercial space age? It's not just like the elite test pilots of the past, is it?
Not anymore, no. It's a much more diverse group now.
Right.
Take the Inspiration 4 mission, for example. It was the first all-civilian mission to orbit Earth, organized by SpaceX.
Right.
They sent 4, ordinary people with no prior astronaut training into space for 3 days.
I remember that mission. There was a healthcare worker, a geoscientist, an entrepreneur. It really felt like a real cross-section of humanity. What was the point of sending, everyday people into space?
I think it was a really powerful statement about the democratization of space travel. Inspiration 4, it showcased the human spirit of adventure and showed that space isn't just for a select few anymore.
Right.
It also highlighted the possibilities for citizen science and space tourism and inspiring a whole new generation to dream of reaching for the stars.
It really did feel like a turning point. But it's not just about the astronauts. What about the countless individuals working behind the scenes, like the engineers, the technicians, the mission controllers?
Yeah.
What drives them?
Yeah, those are the unsung heroes of the space age.
Yeah.
They spend countless hours designing, building, and testing these complex systems that make space travel even possible.
Right.
And their work is really demanding,
Right.
often requires incredible precision and attention to detail,
Yeah.
with the knowledge that even a tiny error can have catastrophic consequences.
It's a high-pressure environment, to say the least. What keeps them going? Is it just about the technical challenges?
It's definitely more than that. I think they're driven by this deep passion for exploration, this belief in the importance of pushing the boundaries of, human knowledge and capability. Many of them grew up dreaming of space travel, and now they're actually playing a crucial role in making those dreams a reality.
It's almost like they're living out their childhood fantasies, but with the weight of the world, or at least the future of space travel, on their shoulders.
Yeah, and that sense of purpose, that feeling of contributing to something larger than themselves is incredibly powerful, I think.
Yeah.
That's what fuels their dedication and motivates them to overcome all those inevitable setbacks and challenges that come with exploring the unknown.
It's truly inspiring to think about the collective effort that goes into each mission, the countless individuals working together, each playing this critical role. But beyond the technological feats of the scientific advancements, what is the the broader impact of all this activity in space? How does it affect us here on Earth? Culturally, philosophically, maybe even spiritually?
That's a really profound question. Space exploration has always had this way of capturing the human imagination.
Yeah.
Pushing us to think beyond ourselves and our place in the cosmos. The iconic images of Earth from space, the first human footprint on the moon, those rovers exploring the Martian landscape. These visuals have this profound impact on our collective consciousness.
It's true. Those images, they're more than just pretty pictures. They're these reminders of our shared humanity.
Yeah.
Of the fragility of our planet and just the vastness of the universe we inhabit. It's almost a humbling experience, seeing Earth from that perspective.
It really is. Space exploration challenges us to kind of confront our place in the grand scheme of things,
Right.
to question our assumptions about what it means to be human.
Yeah.
It inspires us to dream bigger, think beyond our earthly constraints, and strive for a future where, humanity might one day become this multiplanetary species.
It's a heady concept, but it's hard not to get swept up in the possibilities.
I know, right?
Especially when you consider the rapid pace of advancements we're seeing in the private space industry.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the long-term implications of all this activity in space?
I think we're really standing at the edge of this new era of exploration.
Yeah.
One that's driven by, entrepreneurial spirit, technological innovation, and this renewed sense of wonder about the universe. The challenges are huge,
Right.
but the rewards are potentially transformative. We could see breakthroughs in science and technology that benefit humanity in countless ways,
Yeah.
from new energy sources to medical advancements, even solutions to climate change.
Yeah.
It's a hopeful vision, and it's exciting to think that private companies are playing such a pivotal role in shaping this future. But with great power comes great responsibility, right?
Always.
We've talked about the environmental concerns, the regulatory hurdles, the ethical considerations. How do we ensure that this new era of space exploration actually benefits all of humanity, not just the select few?
Yeah, that's the crucial question we need to keep asking.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just reach for the stars.
We need to do it responsibly, thoughtfully, and with this deep sense of ethical awareness. We need to make sure that the benefits of space exploration are shared equitably, that we protect our planet and the space environment,
Yeah.
and that we use this incredible opportunity to really advance the well-being of all humankind.
Well said. As we wrap up our deep dive into the world of private space travel, it's clear that we're witnessing this, pivotal moment in human history. Private companies aren't just launching rockets and satellites.
Right.
They're launching this whole new era of exploration, innovation, and possibility. And while the journey ahead is sure to be filled with, challenges and uncertainties, it's a journey worth taking.
Yeah.
One that holds the potential to, reshape our understanding of ourselves and our place in the cosmos.
For sure. So the next time you look up at the night sky, remember that those twinkling stars, they're no longer just distant points of light. They're destinations waiting to be explored, frontiers waiting to be crossed. And thanks to the, vision and determination of these private companies,
Yeah.
those dreams of reaching for the stars are actually becoming a reality.
What an incredible journey it's been. We've explored the remarkable advancements in private space travel, the challenges that they're facing, and the profound implications for, humanity's future. If this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, we encourage you to continue exploring this vast and fascinating world of space exploration.
And for more captivating explorations of the universe, be sure to follow and subscribe to Cosmos in a Pod and our YouTube channel. We're constantly updating our content with new episodes, interviews, and insights to keep you, informed and inspired.
So keep looking up, keep asking questions, and never stop exploring the wonders of the universe.
Until next time, clear skies.